ladies and gentlemen. January 31st, 2024. I'm off on my guitar and drums here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show started here. Music goes on forever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. We've got another great show for you today, but as usual, I've got my co-host Pedro Garcia in the house. Pedro, what's happening?
What is up, my peoples? I hope everybody's doing well. It is a glorious day right now. It is beautiful with definitely silver linings along those gray clouds.
I don't know where the hell you are, but it's gray and awful where I am in Canada right now.
Well, like I said, beautiful day with a silver lining around the gray clouds. But it's all good because life is good. I've got all phalange fingers moving. And I got all my senses in my brain, so it's a good day.
All right, Pedro, I gotta send out one or two tweets here to start the show. Why don't you give the crowd the usual words here?
Awesome. So if you guys don't mind, please hit that like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know where you are at or where you would love to be. The biggest key in that is that, hey, sometimes we're at where we're at, where it's a silver lining along the gray clouds, and there are other times where you want to be, let's say, in Santorini or on the beaches of San Diego drinking a nice little Mai Tai, getting ready to catch a surf. So if you guys don't mind, please share us to your preferred social media platform so that we can get the name out there. And again, I just want to thank every person in our community. Thank you guys so much for always coming in, hitting that like button, sharing us. We're seeing things definitely getting going, and just the rest of everybody else, hope you're doing well. Oh, and how you doing, Mr. Tech Geek?
I'm doing well, but if you can't tell, my camera's running a little slow here, which means my system is a little overloaded as usual. Pushing to get those super chats so we can get some upgraded studio equipment, maybe some of those NVIDIA 4090 machines that were machines with those cards in them. We would really like those. But anyway, all good. We got a good show for you today. We've got a new group coming out called Dyor Exchange, otherwise known as Dyor Exchange. I'm in the habit of saying DYOR. But the interesting group bringing out a new product, new exchange coming out. I'll let them discuss it all about in the second part of the show. But the first part of the show, it's Pedro Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on with BTC since we last spoke, Pedro? What's happening? I even got the guys here.
Oh, awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
I'll pop you guys off the screen for now.
When we were looking at right now, checking out BTC right now is sitting at a nice little area here. It is kind of consolidating. I would have thought we would have much more of a sell-off in relationship to what happened with XRP. But XRP was on it like brown on dung. And in the same sense, they did hold on. So we can see here we had a bit of a sell-off into the market. But look, BTC is steadily going up. But unfortunately, as you can see, we don't got a lot of volume coming in. So I'm still at this point where it's like, I don't know what to do.
That volume's been plaguing us in this, Pedro, and we've been watching it. And I've got an article over here that says even though Grayscale dumped a bunch of its, I shouldn't say Grayscale, I should say the holders of Grayscale's fake ETF that transitioned into their new ETF dumped tons of stuff, but because of Grayscale's investments, they still made $1 billion. Yeah, there's no money in this virtual currency stuff. Like the old guys in the U.S. Congress and Senate are testifying again today. There's no business here. This is awful. Just this stuff is it. Grayscale made $1 billion on their own. It's mind-boggling. But anyway, their volume has kind of come out now, and that's leveled off. We saw the market respond over right where that volume kicked up in the buy section here, because once the grayscale selling pressure was off, the FOMO happened. Hey, let's go. But as you've been saying the past couple of days, Pedro, the volume did not come back enough, except for a couple of spikes when Sailor bought a bunch, Fidelity bought, I don't know, like $2 billion worth the other day, and even that kind of volume isn't enough. I mean, we basically need tens and 20 billions of dollars, 10, 20, $30 billion to really kick this off. Do you see any evidence in that, in the liquidity and buys, where the order levels are and that type of stuff?
No, that's the thing, is we don't. And that's where I keep sitting there going, how are they getting into the markets? Are they getting in through other avenues where they're actually doing exchanges between other blockchains that are private? Because I'm not fully seeing it. We're just not seeing it in these levels. So this is where I'm a bit just kind of like, how is this money coming in, and where is it coming in at? I don't know if it's just that I'm novice in the institutional standpoint and how they set things up. I mean, look, 2 or 3 billion should have at least moved this market in the last day or two, right? Like, really, like, boom. And you can see here in the longs, we don't see any real pressure. If anything, we're now starting to see liquidation of the last couple of days of some not moving averages, liquidation of the longs here. Yet we're still kind of pumping up in the actual chart. So this is Bitcoin long chart, where we actually track the actual how many people are buying, what's actually happening. And this chart right here, which is Bitcoin, and yesterday we had a small little kind of pullback, but look, today we're pushing up. Yet we are having a sell-off in the actual coin. So this is where it's very just complicated. I do not know how to reconcile what I'm seeing, because it just doesn't make sense to me. So it's just one of those things. I think sometimes they will and maybe it's insider stuff that's actually happening, but we're not seeing.
No, there's no insider stuff in crypto. No, that doesn't exist at all.
Never. That would never happen. Absolutely not. So I just don't know.
All right, well, let's
look. Yeah.
Go ahead, finish it up.
Yeah. So the back thing is that when I look at it, the shorts themselves are coming in, and this is where I bring this up. The shorts themselves are coming in, whereas they're liquidating. They're getting rid of their positions. We just fell through this major short area here. So pretty much you can see people are getting rid of their shorts. Like, they're trying to step out and look to go long as Bitcoin's moving up. But yet the actual purchasing of Bitcoin coin itself is not prevalent. So what are you going to do? Yeah.
What are you going to do? Anyway, let's hit a couple of the social media things in here today. Crypto Mike is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto Mike coming into us from Winnipeg. Thank you very much for joining us.
What's up, Mikey?
Mr. Dara Lawton joining us from Madrid, Spain. Dara, thank you for joining us once again. I appreciate it every time that you come, Lawton. Drano, I don't have a sound effect for you like with Lawton, but it was up. Hope everyone hopes the flu is spreading around. Drano, stay away from that evil flu. Don't care which one it is. Chuck Jansen has shown up into the show. Chuck, thank you very much for joining us.
You using the whole fist doc?
Yep, the doctor checks in with everybody here. Pedro Garcia says, "Hope you're feeling well." Drano, Mr. Tech Geek, which audit Dyor is going to do? I don't know what that means, but thank you for Mr. Tech Geek for watching us and tuning in. Appreciate every new viewer, every new commenter, everything like that. There's Kaching coming to us from I forget where, but we're gonna do the Kaching sound. Thank you very much.
Ching.
Who else am I missing here? Missing myself. Starting soon. Well, we already started the show here. Anyway, this is the time of the show where I'm going to quickly talk about some of our the important things in our in our life here, and that would be our sponsors. And two sponsors to talk about here today. Camuso CPA, for those of you based in the United States and have crypto investments in which you're looking at your taxes going like, I have no idea how to do this. Or you got that letter from the IRS saying, hey, a couple years ago, you screwed everything up and everything since then, and you need to get that fixed. Patrick Camuso at Camuso CPA is a company that can do that. They are licensed to provide tax services, tax advice, and all that type of stuff, and they focus on it. And they even, if you have another accountant that isn't so sure about it, and he's like, oh, I'm a professional accountant, I can handle this, he takes a lot of those cases where those guys screw it up, because unless you know how to read the blockchain and know how to account for reflections and potentially rebasing coins or rewards, it's not easy. You know, those things don't easily show up in your wallet to print out and that type of stuff. If you just get a 1099 from Coinbase and all you did was buy Bitcoin and sell it, you know, you don't have that much trouble at all. But if you use DeFi in the US, you have all sorts of tax issues. Contact Camuso CPA, and the other is auditchain.finance here. I'm going to run the auditchain.finance commercial here in which you basically hear me talking about me. So let me see if I can load this. There we go.
Most of you know that crypto exchanges have been taking a beating about transparency, and many groups out there are trying to solve that. But AuditChain has already done that. AuditChain's protocols and network of validators can mathematically prove that a company's entire financial state, not just proof of reserves, but a proof of state, and whether or not that company is providing accurate reporting and information to the respective government regulators and to the public. Seriously, you and I can check crypto companies and traditional companies' financial reports for transparency and accuracy using a logic and reasoning engine called Pacioli that records its output where? On the blockchain. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, blockchain technology is now able to be used to check on traditional companies. Behind me is a list of companies that comprise the S&P 500, S&P 100. In essence, the largest U.S. companies by size. More than one quarter, 29 out of 100, have problems with their reports. Remember, accounting and other corporate systems are garbage in and garbage out. So if there are problems with the data out for these companies, in red here, what does that mean? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There are problems with the data going in. And this was figured out not by accounting or auditing firms and fleets of consultants. This was compiled and reported on by AuditChain's Pacioli validating nodes and took only 5 minutes. It's revolutionary and it's a disruptor technology. AuditChain.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, auditchain.finance. Go see them, revolutionizing the world of auditing financial statements for the assurance and financial reporting industry. Lots of new stuff coming out. That commercial I did, it's about 6 to 8 months old. They've got a whole new front end, new stuff. Pay attention to them. Go to auditchain.finance, find their telegrams, and learn all about them. Blockchain technology, checking on traditional finance. Anyway, this is the part of the show that I really enjoy the most, because I like having guests. I like interviewing people and that type of stuff. And so I seek out various guests for the show. We try to have one good one on a week or so. And we've had everyone from Caitlin Long on to all sorts of other crypto celebrities and that type of stuff. But what I like to hear most about is new products and new ways that we're all going to make money. That's the most important thing. And so I stumbled across in the industry I used to be in. I was going through LinkedIn, kind of changing up my LinkedIn for what I do now. And I saw one of my contacts is now from the old industry is now in this industry. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I noticed he had a Dyor Exchange thing listed for his activity and investments. And I was like, I'm going to pay attention to that. So I went to a Twitter Spaces for the first. I read up about them. I went to a Twitter Spaces and I said, this is an interesting concept of kind of a self-custodial social user interaction DEX. And I'm like, okay, I don't fully understand it. It's not launched yet, so I'll pay attention to them. And then I thought, well, how about I just bring them on the show and talk about it? So ladies, let's see if I got the tech right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got Marcus and Alex of Dyor Exchange. I gotta say it the way they do. Dyor Exchange on here. Marcus, you're on mute still. I can tell on your own screen. But welcome to the show, gentlemen. Tell us where in the world you're coming to us from today.
Hey, so first of all, thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Happy to be on DYOR show as the co-founders of Dyor. Yeah, we are calling from Monaco right now, based out of here, having our little boot camp pre-launch. So yeah, just essentially sitting at the office 10, 12 hours a day. Nothing more to it.
Well, at least it's not Formula One time right now, so you get a little peace and quiet to get your work done.
That's
true, but it doesn't matter if you're in a
place.
dark room.
Plus, to be honest, like when the Formula One is here, it's really nice. It's the city's buzzing, you know. Like suddenly over like the span of 4 days, the population size quadruples, and it's crazy. Like for every single person here, you have like 5 tourists, you know, just running around. And then trying getting a glimpse of the track, but
I was there a while ago, just before Formula One season, and all I did was hang out at this place called Stars and Bars, and I said, "Well, I'm an American. There's an American themed restaurant, and there's bars." So I was like, "Better go there."
It actually sadly closed. It was one of my favorite places. I used to come to Monaco as a kid, and it's a really old place. And I showed it to Marcus just like a month before it closed. So sadly, it's no more.
That's too bad. They opened a while ago. They opened a branch in Abu Dhabi, and I used to live down there as well. And I used to go to the one. They had one out on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi.
I have to interrupt.
Yes, sir.
I apologize. But bro, look who just showed up. Royal Q, baby. Like he is not at the end. He's here.
He's on time today. Royal Q coming to us from Harare, Zimbabwe. Royal Q, thanks for joining us. We got some new stuff for you today. Yeah. But let's get into the show today. Let's see if we can get this right. Look at this. I'm doing it right each time now. Also, Marcus, and is it Alex? Is that the best way to pronounce the short version of your name?
Alex is definitely it will work.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So we talked a little bit before the show, but tell our viewers now the basics. Let's do this kind of in a conversation style. The basics about Dyor Exchange and what you're trying to accomplish.
Sure. I guess I can give you the 30-second pitch, or probably going to be a minute, but in essence, yeah, something that we have been ironing out for the essentially past 2 years, because the idea was initially incepted in November 2021 when Alex and we were heavily investing into different projects on chain, you know, scouting coins, figuring out, you know, which token is going to give that sweet 100x, yeah, and we realized how difficult it was, and understood that this is a big problem. And if it's a problem for us both, then probably there are like at least 100,000 other people that are facing the same issues as we were at the time. And that's how Dyor, or DYOR, or Do Your Own Research Exchange was born. Essentially what we are trying to accomplish and build is a decentralized social investing app. Think of it as eToro, which is most commonly used in Europe, or Robinhood in the States, but for on-chain investing, 100% non-custodial and permissionless. So it's your keys, your crypto. We are combining multi-chain wallets with swaps and bridging, asset management and asset staking in one app available on iOS and Android. And on top of that, we enable users to create their profiles. With these profiles, they can interact with one another and share and copy trades, and of course their market opinions and research in all things crypto feed. That apart from this actionable user-generated content, also pulls in news sources, news from 129 different news sources, and we are looking into integrations with X and other social media platforms to essentially consolidate everything, like all crypto content, in a digestible manner that is actionable and easy to browse for users to figure out where to allocate their next dollar on chain. And then, of course, we help them along the way. Let's say if you have found a token you can go to its project card, see on-chain and off-chain information, as well as Dyor data on which profiles have bought it and basically how that token has performed internally. And then if you like the token, you can also seamlessly buy it through our app. And we, for example, take care of things such as bridging. If, let's say, your assets are on Ethereum, but the token you like is on BSC, we offer one-click bridging, during the purchase process. Or, for example, if we see that if you don't have any assets, you can easily on-ramp with Apple, Google Pay, Visa, Master, and other bank transfer and other methods.
Good. That's the 1 minute version. Then I hate to sit through the hour-long pitch deck. Anyway, there's a lot. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack. We've got a short show here. We're gonna obviously just hit the highlights to help you get the name out and get the word out on this. So in essence, a different type of exchange which has more of a user. The users are more involved socially on it, uploading data, creating data, a community of sorts. How do you guys keep the community from just spamming the hell out of us like a CoinMarketCap?
Yeah.
Well, there's a fine line, and I think users generally, that spam always is there. I think it's all about what do you highlight and what not. I don't think that any space can be safe from this, but I think it's our mission to allow users and highlight for them the information that is key and that other users find key, because users are very good at actually highlighting things that they like and interacting with them. And for us, the good thing is software is very modular and you can build as you want. So that's definitely the way we're going to focus on it.
All right, I'm going to take a quick break here just for 1 second to highlight a viewer, Kaching. Thank you very much, Kaching. Kaching did the $5 super chat, so we're going to give the holler on that one.
Holla, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? I didn't have the holler on, so. So now, I always, I tend to goof this up periodically.
Periodically?
It gets a little complicated sometimes, There we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Kaching. I really appreciate it once again.
So much.
Who would have known that just having other guests on from a Dyor group would cause people to FOMO send us money. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. As I always say, we don't accept any type of payment from any type of token or a promo or shill or anything like that. But if our users contribute to us, we use that to help promote the channel and get the word out about the projects that we have on. So thank you very much to Kaching for that. So the concept that you can't really ever get rid of all spam. I mean, even Facebook, who has a zillion, the huge multi-billion-dollar system, can't get rid of it. But is there, in part of your system, is there a way for other users to rate each other or each other's posts so things rise above the crap?
For sure. There is. We have social interactions within the users, and mainly our focus actually is on on-chain posts. That's what we want to do. We want to verify some of the things that you say. As on Twitter, you can endlessly show that you have these 20 tokens and that they're going to go to the moon, and most likely those are bots. But the nicer thing about an app, it's harder to bot, firstly. Right. And secondly, there's on-chain data that we can share. So let's say you have in your portfolio these 5 projects. You can share this information and write your opinion. That also adds validity to what you're actually saying and gives some basis for other users to explore. And that's the key thing that we're going to focus on, trying to add validity to what's being done on social media. And I think one thing that Marcus didn't mention when we started was one of the biggest problems was we were sitting on Reddit, Twitter, Telegram. It was all shills, bots, everything just spammed. And, it feels so congested and annoying. For us, we wanted to get rid of
PTSD. That. I didn't want to talk about it.
Exactly.
Royal Q asks, how can we support you guys? Why don't you give them some info how to find your project here?
I guess you can first of all go to our website. It's dyor.exchange. Super easy to find and I guess remember as well. There on the bottom you can find all of our links. Usually it's at Dyor Exchange on Telegram, at Dyor Exchange on Twitter. And yeah, those are our main channels. You can also sign up for the waitlist still till this day. So if you do sign up, then potentially you will get early access to that. But to be honest, it's not that long to wait anymore. It's around a month from now that we will be launching app to all of the users. Right now we do have like 3,500 downloads, actually a bit more as of now. But yeah, we plan to keep on adding the number. Yeah.
All right, Dara Lawton, an Irishman coming to us from Madrid, says, "Does Dyor serve institutional investors or the retail side, or both?"
So for now it's only retail. And to be honest, I think one pretty distinctive factor that we acknowledge as a platform or essentially at the core we are a DEX, but we do not want to position ourselves, is that we are a marketplace. On one side we have retail customers, investors who are on our app browsing projects, and on the other side we have the projects that we also have to cater to. So I would say in that sense, like we do have plans to establish pretty strong business development arm that would reach out to projects, vet them, and subsequently onboard them to the app, which kind of does cater to somewhat institutional customer onboarding, but mostly it's retail, of course. We have had some ideas about potentially involving institutional players to offer strategies through the Dyor app to our retail customers that they can, partake in or invest in. But yeah, that is for the later, and yeah, not valid now.
Okay, so you're coming out with the exchange, but you're also coming out with to kind of run the exchange and give rewards and have the user community a Dyor token. Is that correct? And is that part of the initial launch, or does that come later as you spin things up?
That's for the initial launch, and we are launching the app pretty much simultaneously with the token. So our token launch will be at the end of March, or as we say, until the end of Q1. And we have quite a lot of plans for it. So some of the utilities will be distribution of all the fees that are coming in, as well as later on in the later stage of the app, premium and inside our ecosystem purchases that we'll allow to do with it.
All right. Pedro in the audience has asked a couple of questions. If the audience has any other questions, let us know. Pedro, you gonna get? I know Pedro always has a list of questions.
Yeah. So, and this is, as you guys already know, you have a good majority of investors from the United States, and right now our government is not wanting to play with crypto, and so we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Elizabeth Warren
and others one, but yeah, what are you guys doing for the American market? Is there a central exchange that we can maybe participate in, or whatever? Go ahead.
Yeah, so to be honest, right now, I mean, it is kind of a tough cookie. Like to enter United States, it's not easy, and to be honest, like we. Initially do not plan to directly serve the customers from the United States in order to not to get into hot waters with the regulators that are currently out for hunt, for everything crypto. So yeah, we do not want to be a part of that massacre, but generally we are always willing to find ways and are always actually looking for options on how to, expand the serviceable market of ours. And if there is an opening, that I don't know whether we would need to get some sort of a licensing or registration with the SEC or whatever it may be at one moment, we are happy to do it in order to also bring Dyor to the public in the States.
Well, I think that. If you're kind of avoiding the U.S. market, that's one thing. But two, you're a non-custodial exchange, in essence, a DEX. And so you're not holding our money. You're not doing the exchanges behind the scenes. You're relying on liquidity pools to do that for you. And you're it's a gray area in the U.S. You're facilitating it and acting like an exchange. If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck.
That's true.
but
I mean, but
so
the
it's a
thing is,
gray area for us
yeah.
here in the U.S. and our commodities futures trading. CFTC says one thing, the SEC says another, but the general idea is, hey, let's stay in Monaco and let the world that's not part of the U.S.
let's
Yeah.
let's say
trade
we
with
yeah,
us
just
at this
don't
point.
market.
Yeah.
We don't
The-
market to the US, and we do not approach clients to the US. But yeah, let's leave it at that.
But
The rest is
yeah, the thing is that there are some bigger players, such as, for example, Uniswap, that we will allow to, take the flag in this and find a way of how to
Right.
bring their services legally to the States, and then we will just follow. Right now, I mean, there is no precedent, and of course, like I'm similar like you, I think that it's just bogus that, let's say,
Yeah.
just a front end to the blockchain must now survey customers and employ some KYC policies and limit the I don't know accessibility of what the blockchain is in any way. It's just like it doesn't make any sense to me, because we do not have access to users' funds, we do not hold them, we do not execute the transactions, we just offer a much easier and easier interface for them to do whatever they want to do on blockchain, which essentially they can do through, I don't know, platforms like Etherscan, easily.
Right.
You can connect
You can connect directly to contracts
everything.
with no exchange at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yes, exactly.
as I say, the old white guys in Washington D.C. don't have any clue about that at all. You can
Clueless.
just and a
Clueless.
13-year-old can do it. In the United States, a 13-year-old is not even a legal person of any kind. And they can start smart contracts. They can trade smart contracts. They can fund liquidity pools. What's the government going to do? Go like send a SWAT team down to arrest them or something? You 13-year-olds, got to stop that. But if you've listened to our show, going on, or go watch the zillions of hours of past shows, Pedro and I talk a lot about regulation and policy, and I'm very critical of KYC, because it went from trying to track down the world's drug cartels, in which $100,000 or more was a threshold for being something you need to track, to now it's like your $6 PayPal transaction to buy a coffee at Starbucks. And they're like, oh, that might be terrorism. We need to KYC that account. And so it's grown into something that it stifles business. And so, but Pedro and I like to beat up on the people that want
mean,
KYC
you guys
for
in the
everything.
States
Because
are
you need
more or less
KYC
fine.
just to get money onto your account. I mean, you got to go
Yeah.
through your credit card or your bank.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've KYC'd you and your money goes in and out of your bank, that's fine. You can do whatever you want with the money. The money's got to come back to your bank. They know who you are. Drives me crazy. I could talk all day about it. In fact, I do talk all day about it on this show. We had a good question here a minute ago from Mr. Tech Geek. Does Dyor have protocols to prevent users' data leakage? As DeFi crypto antivirus sent emails to users and drained their wallets and said it was a hack. The general question is, what's your security profile to ensure that you're not spoofed or someone doesn't get into your system and then send things out saying, click on this link to connect to this new wallet or new DApp and then get drained?
the good part about having an integrated wallet in your app that is connected to your device means that there's no backend access. So essentially, we never touch the user's keys. We don't have access to them at all. It's all done through the device. And essentially, an integrated wallet means that somebody sending you a link that would access your wallet through Dyor is not really a chance that you're going to have problems with. We take security pretty seriously, and we know a lot of people also in this Ledger hack. Actually, one of our teammates took a big hit, and we have experienced ourselves some issues with this. So I think that the biggest thing for us is just to keep it to simplicity, because as crypto was built originally, these problems were less, because actually it's built mainly for security, and the security is very embedded inside. The problem with security, though, and it being simple, is scaling, because when you go to retail is quite confused with the seed phrases, with everything
Yes.
you must do. You need to dumb it down. You need email verification only. You need to retrieve your seed phrase because you might have lost it. And that's the problem. So sort of how to tackle this, I think that's the big step of this bull run that a lot of decentralized exchanges and decentralized wallets will try to deal with. How do we give that centralized exchange feeling for users, especially on sign in, sign out, and information saving and security? And that's something that we will for sure partake in tackling over the coming bull run.
Oh, let's see. I guess King Kaching asks, what other projects have you guys led or been part of in the past?
Well, to be honest, before basically crypto has always been a passion of mine, and Alex's actually too. I guess I can speak on behalf of both of us. I have been in the space since 2017, Alex since 2015, but mostly trading, actually, investing in Bitcoin and firstly blue chips, and then just like, diving down deep in the rabbit hole on chain, just sniping contracts and doing all that. And
How far back?
actually,
How far back?
The bottom.
So 2017 was when basically the first trades started, actually all throughout the DeFi summer, all throughout the previous bull run, we were on chain. But actually most of our experience, bulk of our experience, comes from the fintech industry or digital banking. Have been a part of a variety of different projects in the space before, basically building digital financial institutions and tech thereof. So I don't know, it's not pretty popular, I think, in the States, but in Europe we have this electronic money institution concept that you can get one license and then start to, handle payments and everything. Essentially, we have thousands of mini PayPals in Europe,
right?
And we have been a part of a couple of them. So
good. Kingpin asks, what is your current user base waiting for the exchange launch? Not sure if it's been asked already. It hasn't, but he says loving the integration with Unizen. Also, Kingpin says, "What's your who's signed up and how many people are waiting?" Sounds like an insider here.
Alex?
Yeah, definitely an insider. Unizen is a great pick. Unizen is one of our partners. Amazing guys, great tech, great solution. But apart from that, we have 420 plus users in our waitlist that we accumulated over the bear run. 420,000 users that we accumulated over the bear run in our waitlist.
Big difference.
Yeah. I missed that last part. And then we have approximately 70,000 on our socials, and most of our by regions. If we break down, it's CIS. We have a lot of Southeast Asia and a large population in Europe. So we have also some America, approximately 7%, and UK on top of that also 4.3. So we are spread around a lot of places, and we're just trying to pick the right markets where to expand.
But I think it's also important to know that the crypto market currently is so small that this segmentation across the jurisdictions and geographies, I think it's just like you're trying to cut the small pie into even smaller pieces. So right now we are relatively broad, but definitely we will need to at one moment narrow our market or attention to certain jurisdictions over others.
I think as we start to progress within crypto, just like we've seen traditional finance, right? Whereas certain type of exchanges or avenues to be able to trade has become in a way where it's almost broad, yet it's narrow, and you almost build community. And I like how you guys are developing your own system where it's like if I'm all into, let's say, internet stocks, that's funny. Internet, you can see how old I am. Internet-based tokens, right?
.com.
And AI,
.com.
See, I'm dating myself here, right? But in the same sense, I'm the old guy here. Actually, Tom, I think you're a little bit older than me, so he's actually
I am
the old guy.
definitely the old guy here.
In the same sense, I feel like the way you guys are developing this, your guys' DEX is smart, because I can sit there and link my profile to people, and I can actually build that. So you almost you actually can solve that issue by building that community within the DEX, whereas a lot of these other guys don't necessarily have that. And let's say I like, oh, I just found this other person, this other thing, right? And then I share it with him, and then he all of a sudden goes, you know what? I heard about them. It's not good. These guys are actually fake. They actually took my money over here, and all of a sudden you're like, bro, that's awesome. So it's like all of a sudden now I know that information, right? Because I'm able to build a small community for, let's say, internet and AI tokens that are coming out. So I think I really like that about what you guys have done in that aspect.
Exactly.
The thing is that it's already, you can find some form of it, let's say on platforms like Twitter. There are certain communities, certain KOLs that have a following that tend to, let's say, bring out tokens and call them, as we usually say. And right now what we want to do is essentially to give some backbone to it and actually show on chain that this is what they did and this is how they have been performing. And there's some let's say reason behind why you should follow them, and it's tangible, whereas like on Twitter it's just words.
Yes, and that's right there. There you go. I didn't even really catch that part. I just love the fact that I can go into a community, knock on the door. Hey guys, this is what I'm looking at. Show me what you guys are looking at. Boom. All right, and then I love that. I think that's just, yeah, and on chain. Now the fact that you really just hit that point that it's on chain, and look, you can see this is where they rug this person. This is the same IP address or however you guys are going to be doing. I think that's just, I love it. I love it.
Well, I do too. I've been spending a little time while you've been talking, Pedro, running their website through the background just so people can get an idea of what's going on. But what I wanted to actually show people was where do people go to sign up and get on your waiting list, or whatever you're calling it is.
You have to go back to the homepage.
Oh, right here on the homepage.
And
Doesn't get any easier than that.
The website is going to it's going to go undergo some changes. Actually, we are right now working on V2 of website. Actually, some nice design tweaks and UX tweaks for the app for the release. So that's to come. And we will be closing down the waitlist relatively soon. You will see us in a new light. Also, like
the always changing. How many conversations do you guys have about updating the UX? I mean, it's like an endless conversation.
Every day.
I think
this is Marcus's favorite forte. Like he will send me like 5-10 different web designs every month and be like, look, we need to do this and that and that. But yeah, it's good. I think our website evolved a lot because of this sort of finding the right features and putting it together.
So a couple of things.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm just saying you should have seen how we looked at when we just started. I can just for gags share the first deck that we created back in November 2021 when I pitched the first investor.
You should see the early versions of my show here. They were just horrid.
But that's evolution for you.
Yeah, well, here on the thing, some of the features to let people know about here: Dyor to earn, real yield staking, protocol governance, additional utility. The Dyor to earn. Tell us about how people can earn tokens by using your app.
So Dyor to earn was meant, we have a reward program built inside of the app. A piece of it is through doing Dyor and doing your own researching things, looking at sharing content, basically utilizing the app. We wanted to build a reward program that would allow users to research Dyor as a tool and utilize it in ways that we have proposed and we think that the app would be best used, and sort of reward them for that. Also, of course, the referral program, that engaging other users, getting your friends on, and just building the community. And there's a lot of ways we can play into it, and also in the future when we really set out the social piece and when it comes out into full action, there's a lot to be done there. There's a lot of things we can do regarding for engagement, how you share KOLs, rewards, and sort of it works in. We feel like we can build a great system with this piece.
Wow. That's certainly interesting. Just getting free stuff for doing what you would be doing anyway on some other app.
Have you guys seen people really kind of jump on that and try to? Because I know, like in the last bull run, right, with Axie Infinity, right, they had a lot of players from third world countries really utilizing the play and or play to earn. And was that the onset of the reason why if we can really capitalize on that, is that why you're using that or setting up in that manner?
I believe that it is maybe like unconsciously one of the reasons why we have decided to also take this approach. But additional to that, historically, this approach has proven to be a great tool in order to onboard new users and kind of like teach them step by step through incentivization what the app's full potential is and how they can utilize it to the fullest. And of course, there are always going to be someone who's going to try to hack the system, and just squeeze it for the rewards. But for, let's say, more regular user, it's just a nice way of how they can, learn, research, become better traders, buy better tokens, and become richer also through the reward system. So, and that's
also,
our whole. Go on.
There's like, if you think about it, if you're somebody who, for instance, is not that financially well off, but you are a very smart individual that's ready to put in the work and do the research, should also be rewarded. And sort of building that into the social piece, allowing somebody who doesn't have the biggest portfolio, but he can earn from his information being engaged and utilized by other users, that's a great thing to have. And I think that, us ourselves working our ass off in the beginning, trying to invest the capital that we have, we know how it is, and probably you guys do too. And a lot of people relate to this. So, and it's great if you get some kind of reward on the platform, and you would be more incentivized to utilize that tool.
I love it, man.
All right, gentlemen. Any other aspects of your project that I didn't hit that you want to mention before this part of the show comes to an end?
And you guys are sticking around.
Honest, Pedro. Yeah. No, hold on.
No, I think we covered more or less everything. I just wanted to once again, thank you for having us on the show. It's great, great to have fellow Dyorers, in the space, and actually, Tom, like, you joined our AMA out of blue and invited us on. It's great.
That's how it works.
And I think it would be great. Yeah, we would be.
Although Meta Launchers banned me immediately.
What? Wait. What happened?
Really?
I was listening to they participated in, I think it's Meta Launchers AMA, and had them on to do an AMA. And it's pretty much, I let them talk the whole time. And at the end, I came on and said, hey, with DYOR Media, why don't you come on my show? And they're like, yeah, okay, just get a hold of us. And then in 2 seconds, the Spaces wasn't available anymore. And I was like, well, that's weird. They ended it that fast? And I'm like, oh, I got blocked.
Oh, sorry for that. Maybe that was...
That's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right. That's how you make connections.
But the final note is, follow Dyor Exchange or Dyor Exchange. I'm now switching it up because I got used to how you pronounce it. But Dyor Exchange on Twitter, Telegram, LinkedIn. Follow our website for updates. We have the app launch coming up. We have the token launch coming up. And overall, we are building a product that will definitely help you to navigate the space and invest on chain. Easier. So, yeah.
I also want to throw this out here real quick, right? So you guys have 450,000? 420,000 people. That is a big deal. I mean, the fact that you haven't launched, and we all know, like, a lot of stuff come about in the decentralized world, and they go as quickly as they come. And the fact is that you've built up that amount, and I'm assuming whether or not a lot of it is good or bad, I still think the fact is that you've built up a decent amount of connections there for people to come in, connect, and to get started. And I look forward to seeing you guys really do let's say a 10% of that really just off the jump really starts pushing, right? Or let's say 1%. That's 4,000 users.
Yeah,
Okay.
We are
actually,
aiming at 10.
we started actually the original conversion to the beta test was at 17%. So
Man,
we got it to that. But yeah, of course,
I'm looking.
it's great, and we really tended to it. We have actually on the site that is for the waitlist signups, we have 1.7 million interactions in total, and we actually the total sign up number is around 700,000. We have almost half of them are half of the users we deleted manually, and then the other ones didn't get on because we have Google Captcha turned on the highest level. So we tried to get rid of all of
And
the
email
bots.
authentication.
Yes,
But I think also we got this because we were resilient and we built throughout the bear market when nobody was there to believe in us.
Yep.
And yeah, we kept pushing, and yeah, actually super lucky that we didn't jump the gun and rush the release, because it was never. Now it's a good time. Before it wasn't. So yeah.
I look forward to it. To see you guys. So my biggest, like I said, that community aspect is really big deal.
It
And
is.
just having you guys, I mean, and I know it doesn't seem like much, but there's not nobody doing it, and they have it all in one base where I can sit there and go click, 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 boom, on an app. You know, I know crypto.com tried to do it, but it just turned into a mess. And
They blew it.
dude. They blew.
I
bad,
remember them.
like,
I remember seeing their job
Oh.
postings for running their communities and doing all that kind of stuff.
so bad.
And then I, to be honest, I looked into it, and then I saw the people they hired, and I was like, they hired like boneheaded shillers instead of proper people like Pedro and myself.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say. I mean, but here's the thing, though, is they did try, and so it's going to be really interesting to see that aspect. And the fact is that it is a decentralized system where people can really sit there and say, you can fire them. You know, like quick, hey, these guys are trash. Boom, fired. Next, right? And I mean, you know, it's almost like a way to be able to trade, like Telegram, right? You know, we're all part of the, or you guys are, because in America that would be illegal. But in where you guys, we all know that in the decentralized world, there are things called call groups, and those call groups go out and, you know, talk about certain projects that potentially could be good or bad, right? But the biggest key is like there's not a intermedium that says, hey, these guys are trash after the fact, right? Whereas within your project, like you can sit there and say, hey, here's all the media coming in from all over the internet. You have over 120,000, or excuse me, 120 news sources coming in and out. And I can sit there and go, guys, check this out. This is real, right? On chain. And that to me is, because I can trade a chart. And if you work hard enough, you can trade a chart and be good. But the key is being able to sit there is, even if that chart is good, am I going to get screwed over because I can't get out?
Exactly. That's the big piece for the KOLs that we want to tackle. We don't want that situation. You hate it when somebody uses you for liquidity.
Yep.
You know, we want to mitigate that as much as we can. Give some responsibility to the KOLs too.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've dropped a link in the chat function here to I think it's a Medium article, or no, it's Cryptopolitan article in which they interviewed Marcus, talking about similar things to this, but it's a good read too if you want to go back and review something. Click that link and read that article, and of course support our fellow creators here in doing things like that. Marcus and Alex, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate the time you spent in your busy days redesigning your UX over and over again. And we'd like to have you back on the show around either just before or just after your launch, whenever you can find time to talk about it. And I hope you enjoyed the time you spent with Pedro and I talking about what's going on with your project.
Thank you, Striking. Thank you, Pedro. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. And yeah, hopefully we chat right after the launch when everything is good and we're 1,000x on our way to the moon.
Absolutely. Quick question for you guys, and I know you guys are busy guys. I go over the charts, and I know you guys are traders, and I always love to give another view on trading. So if you would like to, I know you guys are busy, but if you'd want to stick around, and just kind of comment on, because I'm going to go into the charts and kind of go over stuff.
The second half of our show is Pedro doing charts and that kind of stuff. If you'd like to stick around, please do. If you've got to go, just hang up and we'll see you again. But again, thank you very much for
another call in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's okay, but
no worries.
No. I mean, it's like we have back-to-backs for essentially most of the day.
You got to promote the project.
I can
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's true. That's true.
No worries. No worries.
Well, also don't be afraid
Thank you so much.
to send me links of places where you're going to appear in the future, and I'll be happy to share them with our community and also pay attention to them so I learn as much as I can as well. And we'll see you again around the launch of the project.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
that's
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tom.
Cheers.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Ciao. That was a good little thing. You know what I'm saying?
It was good. We got some good information out of that group about something new coming out. Really appreciate the time that they spent with us on there. Wish they could have stuck around all day and then given us some ideas of charts to look at, the projects we haven't heard from before, or things of what's going on. But they've got to shield their project, and they had a 130 spaces or something. I'm not sure what it was.
Absolutely. Well, so Tom, what are your thoughts on this whole entire thing with XRP getting hacked and just the nutsness of it?
Oh, I haven't looked at that yet.
Oh yeah. So it's been quite the drama. I mean, quite the drama. It is. I saw it pop up, and I was like, let's see if we can capitalize on this. But man, they came in, they're like, no. And then when the head guy sits there and gives away his keys to the hackers, and that's how they go through and start tapping into everything. Yeah.
What?
Dude,
what kind of crap are you talking about here, Pedro?
Dude, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, is this fake news? Lo and behold, I was like, wow. So it's so interesting because it's like these guys are literally the quintessential people who should not be doing it. That's what they're and for them to slip up this way, it just makes us. And here's the thing: they're in front of Congress, they're in front of all these things, and so it just makes us look just trash. We're just trash, and so at least and it just frustrates me. But it is quite the drama though. It's almost like I'm sitting in front of what's it called? What's it, the General House? No.
The House Finance Committee, or
yeah, it's like House Finance.
I don't see the article on the news article. You think that would be the top article here?
Yeah, they did a good job of scrubbing the internet. It appears Ripple was hacked for $13 million or 213 million XRP. Boom. So far, the stolen funds have been laundered through Mexi, Gate, Binance, Kraken, OKX, HTX, Hit, BTC, or some of the ones that have been going through and setting it up. And then what was it? And then we had, and where was the other one? And I'm gonna find this. We are now receiving. I think this is it right here. Give me 1 second. Just then, crypto outflow. I just had it. Here we go. Here we go. Yesterday there was an unauthorized access to a few of my personal XRP, and this is Chris Larson. Okay.
Yeah, I've got the article on the screen from Cointelegraph.
Yeah, it's just, hey, what are you gonna do, right?
You know how many shows I've done on Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked, in which I say things like, if you're in control of any money at all, only administer that through a separate computer that you don't do anything else on. Nothing. Yeah. And not even, you can't have it on your phone. Nothing like that. It's gotta be a separate computer. No other programs. It doesn't sit on the internet all day and doing everything. And those keys, if your keys are only on either in your head, but if your signing capability is on a computer, that's turned off. It's essentially a cold storage wallet. There's nothing you can do if the computer's off. and you can't get hacked. And these people do it over and over again, or they do things stupid like they create an admin account. And an admin account, general security for having users is you create an admin account to set up the user base, and then even the boss gets a regular restricted user account, and that's what you operate on day to day. And so if you get hacked, they don't have the credentials and all that type of stuff, and you only use the admin account to administer the user accounts, and you don't sit and they break these rules all the effing time.
Over and over.
I'm
and
talking to you, Anchor Protocol.
Millions.
I'm talking to you, Anchor Protocol. Millions of dollars.
Billions. It probably, I mean,
Billions,
I wonder the
yeah,
total
billions.
amount of, like, total of everything altogether. Talking, I hate to say maybe tens of billions, but it's enough to where it's like, don't you know you're dealing with other people's money? You're dealing with other people's money.
Well, he does claim that it was his personal accounts that he got hacked, but
it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't even matter because you're still dealing with other people's money when they sell it off. It doesn't matter, like, whether or not it's yours or not. Like, if you hold on to any form of liquidity, if you hold on to any form of system, it doesn't matter, because if you get hacked, your whole entire system gets hacked and everybody else gets hurt, and that's not a good thing. It's just not. You know, you got to be more responsible.
Oh, XRP hacked, losers. I have not been happy with Ripple for a long time, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm separating the appreciation and trading of their token. I mean, I should say depreciation of their token. Literally, because they sell it in order to finance their extravagant lifestyle of lobbying every government on the planet, basically. But, well, as they say, karma's a bitch.
I hope, one of those things that my heart it's as we keep progressing in a digital world, right, that there really becomes a way to, in an easy manner, and it's this key, right? This is the hard part, right? You can't. It's like I had a foster grandfather who used to say to me, "Don't come to a hard problem with the easy or a simple solution, because it will sooner or later break." And it's true, but there's got to come a way where we can set up a system where it's easily done, but where the encryption happens and it's next to impossible, right? Besides, two-factor authentication and then your thumb and all that other stuff, right? It's just there's got to be something. And if you have an idea with that, bring it to the market. We'll figure out a way to get you funded. Anyways, that's enough of my morning rant here.
Well, let's head over to the charts, Pedro, and see what's going on. For those of you listening out there, we obviously lost a bunch of our viewers with the gentleman departing because they had brought some of their community to watch. But our core group of people are there today. Thank you for staying with us, and let us know what projects you want to talk about.
Absolutely. Also, just so you guys know, Justin, not Justin, I don't even know why I said Justin, because I was looking down at something else. Saudi Arabia officially joins BRICS as of yesterday, I believe. So today, excuse me, as of today. So I got that information in just to give you guys heads up. BRICS is getting crazy up in here. So BTC, aka Mr. Beast over here.
Hold on one second. I can't. My background is stuck here on the center TV here. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, that sounds
let's
like a
see.
lot of
Pedro. I've got my screen, my screen here instead of yours, and I can't figure it out. Let's see. Footer, Dyor, Pedro, guest. Desk, lower third, desk cam, visual. Got all these different things. Browser, there we go. Hey, there we go. You're back on.
Yay, here we go. All right. So let's go ahead and check this out here real quick.
Pedro, I'm going to step up and refill my the old trusty cup of Joe here. I'll be right back.
Excellent, excellent. So you guys can see here, again, it's putting in some step and slide. We are seeing a push up higher. Like I talked about earlier, Mr. Beast here is definitely pushing up. So all I can say is look for a lower high to push in, because you can see we're seeing volume step off. If it looked different, if it looked like this, even looking like this, right, seeing as it pushing higher, this is something that I would want to see, if not equal, if not a little higher as we're pushing up. But as we're pushing up, it's just we're seeing volume drop off. And to me, that just screams a bear trap or bull trap, excuse me. So it's just kind of a small little thing. As we look at ETH right here is doing a little bit of a sell-off as we're coming into this. We bounced off of that 8-period moving average, and right now we're just kind of sitting at this level here in the supply area. So nice little sell-off this morning if you were able to take part in it. But again, if it does push up, you want to be paying attention to that 20-period moving average as we come into it. This 20-period moving average is very much going to act as resistance. So you can see already we're in resistance when it comes to the sellers. Plus, we are having a overhead resistance. So we're going to see some ping pong in between the 8 and that 20-period moving average. Let's check out BNB here. BNB here, as you can see, is doing a nice little bit of a hangout here. We did have a supply area right here, but we pushed through. So we're finding support on that 8-period moving average. Potentially, we could see this thing rally back up to highs of that 336 area and to capture that 398 to the 389 area. So it's really interesting to see where we're playing in this level for BNB. XRP, we kind of already went over, but basically they were able to stop the hack that happened with the gentleman. So it's one of those things that as we move forward, I don't think we'll see something like that. But that sell-off here did push us below and put in a lower low here. So when looking at this, I'm definitely, for lack of a better word, much more bearish at this level from a charting standpoint. The fact that we did sell off, but then it's bouncing back. But I don't see, like you would expect to see this type of sell off because it was accidental. People to actually buy it back at a much higher rate, but you can see here it did not. So that's why I'm much more bearish on this level. Expect to see us see a sell if we close below last week's low here. I would expect us to then see a further continuation into next week as we continue to come below here. Let's check out Cardano. Cardano here hit that 8-period moving average on the weekly, and then I talked about as it hits it, we should see then either support level on that 8. But I do expect to see some type of sell-off down into these lower levels again. But ultimately, it was a nice little touch on that 8-period moving average there. Let's go ahead and go to Dogecoin. Dogecoin, it's still kind of going sideways here. So it's pretty much looking like the same thing. Let's go ahead real quick and look at Solana. Solana here is actually showing some pretty decent strength here, whereas we are above the moving averages. And we're actually starting to push up. We had a little sell-off, but you can see we definitely saw buyers step in yesterday, and it's looking like it is pushing up. So it's pretty nice here. Expect to potentially see it kind of come up into these levels here if we do continue up. And that's going to be the 143 to 129 area here. Litecoin did shoot up a little bit like we saw yesterday. But again, we are ping-ponging in between that 20 and 8-period moving average. You can see here it hit the weekly 8-period moving average into that 20, and now back into this consolidation period. So be ready for either a consolidation for a couple months or for about a month, and or a sell-off or a consolidation and then a push up. Simply, we'll find out as Bitcoin progresses. Tron, just like I said yesterday, it came in touch to the 8-period moving average, but it put in a higher high. So I do expect it to see a little bit of a sell-off down to this 50-period moving average, which is basically, here we go, weekly. is sitting at that 8 period moving average, which is at that 10 cent mark. So I could see us then doing, once we come down to that 10 cent mark area, that 50, seeing a nice little higher high again, something to be looking for. Now, as you guys can see here for the map for Polygon here, Polygon, when it went through, you can see how we're trying to find support on that 8, but it couldn't even come down to that 8 period moving average. And so it's starting to push back up. So it's really interesting to see this interacting with the moving averages here. It's really trying to fight to stay above that yellow line here, which is the 100-day period moving average, and that 200-day period moving average, where we had a pretty big buy from it, where it went up about 1 cent, I believe, 1 and 7.
Which chart you have up there, Pedro? Matic?
Yeah, this is Matic. Yeah, Poly. And so right now we're really fighting hard to try to. I expected us to come down and touch that 8, but we did not. So that's a good sign of showing some strength here. And so it's really trying hard to get above that 100-day period moving average. It's a huge signal for institutions. If they can get above this and start to climb, you'll see institutional money step in and really trying to push it up. You can see here that with dot came, I expected to see dot come down to this lower level, which saddens me. It did not. But I do like the fact that it was not able to hold on to that 8 period, and so we sold through it, or we pierced it, but now we're starting to push back up. So we'll see what happens here as the market continues with dot. As you guys all know, I do like dot. So I'm expecting this to come down again a little bit lower, just simply because we did not hold tight on that 8. But we'll find out what happens as the market progresses. Again, this is ping pong in between that 20 and 8 period moving average. We pushed up to hit that weekly 8 up here that we see, and then came back down. So
why is it that you like dot, Pedro?
From a fundamental level, they are the infrastructure that pretty much everything is based off of. And so that's why.
They're the interstate highway system of crypto.
There you go. It's a great way of putting it. And people don't realize that these, even though they're OG for a reason, and they've got stuff coming out. They have a good fundamental. It's like Tesla for me. Like when Tesla sells off, I buy. When dot sells off, I'm looking to buy. Right? It's just, and the reason why I like Tesla so much is because they're really putting a lot of manpower into things that are the future. Right, like Tesla, once they come out with Neuralink, which is neural mesh, Neuralink is the company, and they're developing a thing called the neural mesh. It's still working out the kinks, but within 10 to 15 years, that thing is going to be up and running, and they are the ones who are really putting in the effort to do what they're trying to do. And so it is a gain stopping system. In the same sense, dot is the same way. They've got a lot of good stuff going on for them. Personally, it's what I think. Again.
Well, that makes sense. You bring a good utility to the table, then you're going to win this battle.
That's pretty much it. And the fact is that they make money, and then they put money back into their coin. It's it's kind of one and the same. So I see it's a win-win for the actual system. And as we keep progressing into a market, we're going to start seeing, just like quarterly earnings with banks, or with companies and banks, and with TriFi, we'll see the same thing correlate with coins. I mean, it's just as we progress, even though we can't see it now because we're so small, it's going to become a point in time when you, as a project, it's for you to start up a project and overnight is not going to happen anymore. I mean, unless in DeFi we'll always be able to, but we're talking TriFi, as they get involved within crypto, it's going to be more difficult. And so, to me, it's one of those things that from a price standpoint, we'll see coins having to give an account for what they're doing, right, on a quarterly, on a yearly basis. So I'm looking forward to that, because then the coin will have more of a steady climb versus major sell-offs. And I think we always have the market that we see, which is basically based in a how do I want to say it? A market that will always have a bull market or a bear market. Like I think we'll always have steep bear markets because that's just the nature of crypto and the liquidity aspect behind it. But to have 90%, 80% retracements, I don't think we'll have that as we move forward. I think it'll just slowly, mitigate the sell-offs, and we'll see something pretty close to what the traditional market sell-offs are, like 15%, 20% retracement is really big deal. Whereas right now for crypto, 20% sell-off is like, oh, I guess we sold off. All right, it's a good time to buy. It's sold off 80%, 70%, right? Flash crashed. So,
Daryl says, if you're minting more or burning any crypto, aren't you just like fiat? BTC, 21 million total supply. Well, remember that there's also 100 million sats per BTC, so there's actually 2.1 quadrillion tradable units. So that expands the if the big banks end up holding 20 million of these things, then we still get to trade 100 million sats around. They'll be quite expensive, but we still get to trade them.
That looks forward to be a good day when it's sitting at one BTC, 100 million. That'd be crazy. Just even saying that is like.
But by then inflation would have burned. That would be worth the same as $10 now.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Let's go ahead and move forward here as we sit. So Shiba Inu here, again, it's just kind of going sideways. We're consolidating in between the moving averages. We're sitting in between. We had the sell-off here. I expect to see it come down to even further because this big sell-off day had a pretty decent amount of volume, and today's volume is not anything special. So if we close below that 8-period moving average, expect a sell-off of Shiba Inu into these lower levels here. Let's go ahead and
what's your SHIB time frame here? What chart is that? Is that the daily or weekly?
Yeah, this is a daily. Yeah, so I'm expecting if we close below this 8-period moving average, I'm expecting to see a retracement into the 8 and then a sell-off. Gotcha. So it's going to at least come and It's going to at least come and touch that 851 area for an actual retracement. As you guys can see here, let's check out Bone here. Bone.
Hold on one second here, Space Cat. Didn't get to do this earlier.
The final frontier.
The final frontier. Thanks for rejoining us, Space Cat.
What's up, Space? All right, Bone right here, as you guys can see here, it's looking like we're probably going to see a pretty decent sell-off here. We're seeing the amount of volume step in, and it's just kind of up here we saw volume as it came down, quick retracement, and come down into these lower levels of the 4412 area. Let's go to I was looking at Cake the other day actually, and
Pancake
Cake, yeah. And I remember the first time I ever heard of Cake, this guy was talking about my son keeps saying buy this thing called Cake. And I'm just like, I don't care about Cake. And then his son, and then he goes on to tell the story of how his son did. I forget exactly what the X is, but his son put in. Is it here? Yeah, this is what it was. He put in like, I think he had like $800 or $700 that he had in his bank account. It's like 14-year-old kid, right? For real, dude, right? Like, look, and he comes in right here, right? It's like, I don't know if he got in right here, but whatever it was definitely below $1 easily, right?
Well, that initial Cake pump was big.
Yeah, like he held on, and so the guy ends up telling it was his finance guy, and he says my son basically got in with it. It was below. That's what it was. I think it was below a cent. Is that correct? Would that be correct? Below a cent, the low. So he must have been in. Yeah, it was
on like launch week or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when I learned about Pancake when it was in the Safe Moon era, and I was like, pancake and syrup, and I hadn't got the idea of theme based, everyone having their own theme and using the words from that theme yet. I was like, why do they call it cake and syrup? Those are dumb financial words. And then I was like, oh, pancake. Okay, and then the master contract they call it the master chef contract or something like that. Or
Yeah, whatever it was. But so the kid goes in and shows his dad. Ends up showing his dad. He put like $800 in it. Took his and this guy was a finance guy, right? And so he goes and shows his dad, and he had like a couple $1 million. It went up to like $35. Yeah, I think it was like this day or this right here. I forget exactly. But he goes, "Oh my goodness, what?" And he goes, "I told you, Dad." And then the guy felt like an idiot. He was saying, "I didn't." He goes, "It's still a Ponzi scheme, but my son had that amount of money." And when it reached, so he said, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take out half of that, okay? And then from that, we'll let the rest run, and we can see what happens." And so they ended up, because his dad finally got involved, right? Ended up, the guy cashed out with like $3 or $4 million.
Oh.
Like the kid, 14-year-old kid worth like now. Right. But here's the thing. That kid had also been in now. Well, this would have been in, it was 4 years ago here now. Right. So, now that 14-year-old's an 18-year-old kid, and look, like his dad's financial advisor, he's getting 4 or 5% off of that couple $1 million. So, and I said that only crypto can do that. Right. And so I always think about that story of, just the whole entire thing, that how it happens.
Well, Pedro, I don't have a lot of time left of me today. I've got to get going a few minutes before the usual 2:00 witching hour. But to kind of wrap this up today, I wanted to talk about what you brought up yesterday. If you're looking at the studio view, I brought up my plug-in here for the AI things that you went over.
Oh yes.
Render, yes. Fetch, and Singularity Net. Unfortunately, in my widget thing, there was no Singularity DAO, so I just have those 4.
Yep.
And even since we last spoke, Render's still up 13% again. Fetch is up only 1.3, and Singularity.net is up 2.8, but it's going up.
Yeah, these things they're good. I mean, I don't think they're. Again, yes, it was such a busy day. I wasn't able to go through, but my plan is to honestly. So there's a thing called narrative. It's called Dune.com, right? And they actually go through, and they go over narratives of markets and big coins within the narrative of like AI here. So this is one where some of them are the ones that we're looking at, right? And the other one was Ocean and ORA. That's Oscar Romeo Alpha India, right? So this is one of the ones that I was looking at that I was going to bring up. But we can go over this stuff. We can go over some of this stuff tomorrow if we're going to move on, or this week. And we're going to start just looking at yields, real yield rates, and a few of these other ones that are coming out. So like SEX, right? The central exchange,
right?
So that's CEX. I just realized when I said SEX what it actually went through, and I was like,
that's all right. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but the algorithm does, so we want to be careful there.
Right. Yeah, CEX.
Yeah, CEX. So when it comes to it, it's just really interesting. Anyways, let's go ahead. We can wrap this baby up, and then tomorrow or on Friday, I actually just realized Friday I am not going to be able to be here.
Me neither. I was going to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah. So full rant Friday will have to be held off until next week. So
that's okay. You can't have it all the time. It's got to be special.
Yeah, I agree with that. That sounds good. All right, my friend.
We had a good show today. That's for sure.
How many did we get? How many was it that came through and looked and hit that like button? Man, we forgot to tell the people to hit the like button.
I know, we forgot. We got to beat that into people's heads. We actually only had 12 likes today, but we had over 50 some viewers today.
That's what's up.
We continue that. That's just on YouTube. We had a couple of trickle in on Twitch. And I did have it on YouTube or on LinkedIn, so we'll get another 20 or 30, I guess, out of that, which is good. Keeping it, every time we can aggregate it all the way up to about 100 viewers, that keeps the numbers up and keeps the story going to make sure we can get to those new sponsors and new partners and all that. And thank you to all I've had a number of people that have watched this show who are, I'm sure, not watching now, but that have reached out to me about sponsorships, and obviously just approach me. We'll do anything except shill a token. You want me to wear your T-shirt? I'll wear your T-shirt. Whatever. Draw on my face. Hey, like the boxers do, like tattoo, temporary tattoo. All right, we're not going to
Those
stoop
MMA
that
guys.
low. That's not the point. The point is
Yeah,
for all
you
of you
will.
that
You
have
know
reached
you
out,
will. Yeah,
for all
you
of us who have
will.
reached
Come
out,
on.
thank you very much. As they say, baby needs new shoes, and I need a new computer. Pedro needs a new place to live. So the bridge he's living under isn't working out so well right now. He's got, like I've always said, I hear that the power going on in the background. I'm like, are you stealing power from the street lights under the bridge?
Absolutely. Shh, don't let nobody know.
Oh. Well, all right. So we'll be here tomorrow, but not Friday. And so for those of you that have stuck around to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate it as always. And we'll see you tomorrow. Pedro, anything else before we go?
No, just be safe out there in this crypto jungle.
Let's see. Let me get this thing going here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you, as always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. On behalf of Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, and I, have a great day. We will see you